Imagine a world without notifications. A world where when you message somebody on WhatsApp, you would have to physically open WhatsApp to see whether they'd messaged you back. A world where when you made a post on Instagram, you would have to open Instagram to check whether anybody had posted a comment on your post. A world where you wouldn't know whether you'd received an email or not, and you would have to physically open your email account to check if you'd got an email. Well, that was the world of Web3 before Harsh and Richa got together to create Web3's very first communication layer called EPNS, or Ethereum Push Notification Service. Harsh Rajat, welcome to the interview. And I can't tell you how excited I am to talk about EPNS. The first time I heard about it, I was like, how come this doesn't exist already? But it didn't. But now it does. Before we go any further, before we get into the more complicated aspects of it, please first explain to us what EPNS is and what it does.
Hey, Nikhil. So excited to be here and feel so awesome. What is EPNS? Well, it's Ethereum Push Notification Service, but because we are going multi-chain, let's just assume it's everything push notification service till the rebrands come. What is it? It's the communication layer that we invented or created, starting for Ethereum at first and then moving to Web3 layer as a whole. When I say communication layer, it means that this protocol enables wallet users or wallet addresses to finally get communication, whether it's coming from dApp, a smart contract, or a backend service. These are communication which are now tied to wallet address, and therefore Web3 users, which are wallet address, can go and can see these communications out finally.
Hold on a second. So before this, I said this in my opening monologue. Before this, wallets couldn't talk to each other. And literally, if you wanted to find out whether a liquidity pool that you were participating in or any app that you were interacting with, if you had a message or there was some event that had taken place on that app, you had to physically open it to see whether something had happened. There was no way for that app or that protocol to talk to you or communicate with you.
Yes, exactly. That's hilarious, right? Or not hilarious, but yeah.
It is hilarious because we're so used to it. You're getting your pizza delivered, or you're sending something to a friend's house by a delivery application, or somebody writes a comment on an Instagram page or a post of yours. You get notifications. You're so used to it. You're so habituated to it. At what point in time did Richa and you realize that this didn't exist and you had to work on it?
Right. So the point when we realized it was like when we were doing DeFi, or when we were going to a global Web3 bank called Aave, and we took a loan, and we realized that, hey, over here, a loan will expire and they will not tell us about it. And that is so weird because you will get alerts and communication from the bank whenever you're depositing or receiving money. Leave your loan. Like with your loan, maybe people will come to your house, right? But things are gone like poof. And what do? You went for a vacation and you came back, and wow, now you don't have any loan anymore. So yeah, that was the point we realized. Like we were observing a lot of the apps and smart contracts, and that was when we realized that things we take it for granted, like when we are talking about money, especially that something someone debited or credited money in our bank. That doesn't exist in crypto because you can receive money, you will not get to know about it. But take it further, like any delivery which we have right now in Web2 world, or even when we are talking to our friends like through WhatsApp, we are not on WhatsApp all the time and then refreshing every second to see who has sent me message. It always comes to us through services sending us notifications or alerts that something of importance might be there. And that is because there's a communication middleware which is built for Web 2.0. that was built by Apple and Google. Quite honestly, before 2010, that was the norm. Like we had to go check our email inbox, click on that refresh button. But that seems so ancient and so historical
It
right
seems
now.
prehistoric. It seems like an application that existed at the time of the dinosaurs. So let me ask you this: when you came up with this simple yet brilliant idea and concept for Web3, most of the major players in Web3 must have sat up and taken notice of it immediately because they must have realized this was a pain point as well. So who were the first people that got super excited with this development as you started to talk about it and as you started to build it out?
So Web3 community is really, really awesome, Nikhil. I was so scared writing this idea out, like what will happen. It seems like a very simple idea, like communication layer. So I was like, maybe I'm missing something out over here. So it took me 10 days and I think a little bit of beer to get that liquid courage to write to Ethereum Foundation. But yeah, I did, and then they finally replied that this hasn't been built, and this seems like a fascinating idea. But we don't back ideas; we back actual concepts or POCs. So why not we go ahead and build it out in ETH Global Hack Money 2020? That was what we did exactly. We built it out over there. Stan, the Avi thing which we were talking about.
Yeah.
He was there, so he kind of personally validated that idea back then that he might personally use it, which meant that we might win something or the other. So of course we had to go ahead and build the POC out. We did just that, and that was the start of the entire community, Web3 community coming to us. So after that, we went, or we were selected to Gitcoin kernel. We were the top project over there. Then Gitcoin grants round 7. We were the top 3 project over there in terms of community backing us up. And the money or the grant money we received. That was our first money in 8 months. So it felt nice also. But yeah, that kind of made us realize that this is such a huge thing which we have stumbled upon. And there's a clear market fit. So right after that, we started reaching out to all the protocols saying that, hey, we have built this. So we reached out to protocols like Uniswap, Aave, MakerDAO, Gitcoin, Polygon, Alpha Homara, TYDS, Bancor, pulled together and around top 40 projects. And we said, hey guys, we have built this communication layer. What do you think? Out of the 60 or so projects we reached, around 45 plus confirmed they're working with us. They were
Who
so
were the 15
excited
that did?
about it.
Who were the 15 that didn't? That's what I want to know. See, that's the thing. I mean, even for someone like me who's gotten into Web3 recently, I can see the sheer brilliance of this. And like I said, the simplicity and the brilliance of it. Who were the 15 who said, nahi chahiye?
They are someone who now we are working with. So I really
They've come back now. Actually, Sarjeet, Harsh, wo jo aapne bataya tha na? Okay, so they've all come back. Okay.
Yep.
My question is, your mainnet launch has just happened on the 11th of January. How much time did it take from your proof of concept, from your POC to the mainnet launch?
Got it. So that was around, easily 1.5 years. So people don't realize the communication layer, like you are building it for Web3. No one really did it before you. So you are inventing it. Now with inventions, you can make it so with the chalta hai attitude, or you can, make sure that, you build it to be very scalable and to be very versatile, even 10 years down the line, like how Bitcoin basically made it.
I'd like to talk about the scalability and the adaptability of what you're doing right now, because along with your mainnet launch announcement that you did on Twitter Spaces, you also made another major announcement, which is the ability for wallets to be able to talk to each other using EPNS. At what point in time in your development did Rich and you realize that, while you were building this communication layer, that this would also be something that was going to be crucial going forward, and you started to develop that as well, wallets being able to talk to each other?
Got it. So the first time that idea came to our head was when we were speaking to Balaji. Balaji is also a backer of EPNS. So we were just pitching him out and then we realized that, while services communicating to the users is of course a necessity, we kind of realized that, notifications came first in Web 2.0, then WhatsApp was built on top of it, and then FaceTime came. So at that point of time, we realized that, this is the path going forward. Notifications are of course needed first, because again, you cannot chat to someone if you're just saying that, hey, this is my tab, just keep on refreshing, and someday maybe someone will message you and you can reply back. So yeah, we kind of realized that notifications, then you have to build a chat on top of this, a wallet to wallet chat. And then maybe very, very soon there will be a decentralized video call like Nikhil.eth calling Harsh.eth, or vice versa, which is more likely.
Okay.
Nikhil kind of putting it in spam. So yeah.
No, listen, I'd like to try and understand how exactly EPNS works, because with Web 2 notification services, there's a central server. You download an app or a product, and you subscribe to it, and you enable notifications. So whenever there's an update or there's a message from that central server, you get a message that comes out. It comes out through the internet and comes onto your handheld device or your web browser or the web application that you're using. Because EPNS is decentralized, how exactly does it work? How does the protocol actually function?
Got it. So this becomes a little technical. I will try to simplify it out. Whenever you're talking Web3, you are talking to not trust a single server, because everything needs to be peer-to-peer. So what we did was we basically used some of the standards of Ethereum, namely EIP 712. It's just a way to sign something, like how do you sign a paper. So it's a way to sign your transaction, which basically proves that you are the actual owner of that transaction. So what we did was we basically used that standard, and using that, the services that want to send you communication, they sign that data. Therefore, they make sure that you're not paying any gas and they are not paying any gas. And then they send the data to something that we call as push nodes. They are validated nodes. Their job is to make this entire P2P network and listen to all the data that is coming. Once the data is coming to the network, whether through a smart contract or whether through this signed data type, which we just discussed, the push nodes essentially just admit the data, very quickly verify that the services that are sending this data out, they have signed this data in, and the user for which, or the wallet address for which this data is meant, that has signaled its opt-in. So if both of them are there or are agreed upon, then they are admitted into the network and dispatched to that wallet address position. If the wallet address hasn't really opted into it, then that data is put in the spam box of that same wallet address. So kind of like Twitter.
So the push nodes are incentivized how? Through the push tokens?
Yes, exactly. So this is like a proof of stake, and push nodes are something which is running in a controlled environment right now. But yeah, eventually when they're released to the public, anyone can run these push nodes, and they are incentivized because people are incentivized to run these push nodes, because if they run it, then they will get push tokens as a reward at one point or the other.
Let's also talk about other incentives that you've put out from EPNS. Right now, you've got a $1 million grant that's going out for people who want to develop products on EPNS. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so that's just a starting.
I'm going to come to that as well, because, okay, we might as well. Since you've already mentioned it, that $1 million is roughly 1% of the money available from the community treasury. Am I right? You've got about $87 million in the community treasury?
Yep. So that's just how we are starting. We believe in slowly decentralize things out. So we are starting with 1 million, which is more like an experiment. to make sure and to understand like what parts of this grant program needs to be bettered so that we can open more and more of it for the community. This 1 million grant program, I mean, guys, check it out. Just go to gop.epns.io. If you have an idea, if you want to create a video around EPNS, or more importantly, if you want to develop around EPNS, you have a cool idea which you want to do with EPNS, or go to a hackathon, or create your channel or notification on top of it, or expand its features or the protocol features, we'll just write down that idea on the governance forum. The community will validate it, and if it's validated correctly, your grant will pass, and that's it. We basically launched this 1 million grant for all the developers, all the cool builders, and all the cool creators to come and build on top of EPNS. Make sure that they have paid as well, or incentivized as well, and make sure that EPNS protocol grows as a whole because of it.
This is something that I actually want to talk about very, very quickly, which is something that people don't understand, don't realize, and it isn't discussed too much in the world of cryptocurrency. Most conversations around cryptocurrency are around trading, around the price of Bitcoin, the price of Ethereum, and how those markets keep fluctuating up and down. But what you just mentioned, if someone has an idea, if there's a creator that wants to build something in Web3, then there are grants available, not just from EPNS, but many different projects have these grants available because there's so much work going on in the development of Web3. Careers can be built in Web3 that people aren't aware of as yet because not enough is being spoken about it. And just what we're talking about, that EPNS is an idea that is so simple and so brilliant, would kind of put into perspective where exactly along the path, along the highway of development of Web3 we are, if you were to map this backwards into Web2. When did push notifications come out in Web2? And how much development happened in Web2 beyond that? Where are we with push notifications right now in Web3? And what an incredible world exists before us that we still haven't discovered, and how many people can build careers in Web3 development by doing this. Harsh, do you want to add something to that?
No, I think I want to elaborate on those things. But yeah, I think you kind of put it very, very beautifully. So yeah, let's start with the Web3 development ecospace and how big it is. So yeah, people don't realize like trading is just one part of the cryptocurrency. It's more for people who want to, in a very Web2 terminology, if you want to buy a share for Amazon or for Apple, let's say you are interested in that company or what they are doing. So you want to go and buy a share because you think that they will perform very well. So trading is more like that. You're buying a share in a way for that particular project or for that particular protocol. It's more like you believe in that project and what they are doing. But as I said, Apple or Amazon, people just don't trade. I mean, there are people, like thousands of people making Amazon, and making Apple. And that's the same thing for Web 3.0. A lot of Web 3.0 is very developer and creator intrinsic, and it's driven by that. And these grants, they basically provide people like Web 2 people and Web 3 people a way to come into a project and build it out. So Web 3 is very synonymous to community building. We basically believe that a protocol is not controlled by a centralized company or a centralized server.
That's a very important point. I just want to dwell on that a little bit because you started off with just Richa and you as a team. You have a larger team right now, but not everything at EPNS happens in-house. There's a community of people that build out the product, right? So it's not just one company. Let's talk a little bit more about that. Community development.
Yeah, so exactly that community development, like right now, I mean, a lot of things, a lot of features we get in our GitHub repo. Like we get requests in our GitHub repo wherein a developer has done something. Like very recently, a developer basically enabled ENS domain on our DApp, or ENS profile pics on our DApp, which is decentralized profile pic. through ENS. Now, again, this developer, what we felt was that, this community building part of it, we are not rewarding them enough. Like they are coming and they're contributing and they're not getting rewarded enough, which was the rationale to introduce the grants program. Like, you have these cool ideas and you're building EPNS with us. You are basically contributing to the EPNS protocol, and therefore you should be rewarded equally for it. And that is exactly what Web3 is about. Like in Web3, there will be protocols or the founders of the protocol that will build a product out, which will be one end of the puzzle. And the other end of the puzzle is that the community and awesome builders of the community, they will be contributing to that product and they will also be building it out. And this happens with everyone. Like it happens so much with Bitcoin because Bitcoin doesn't have a founder, or Bitcoin has a pseudo-anonymous founder, which doesn't work on that protocol anymore. Then it happens with Ethereum Foundation as well. Like the Ethereum Foundation, they work on Ethereum, but at the same time, community work on Ethereum through EIPs. And again, whatever good projects are there, or whatever great projects are out there, there will be a community angle to it all the time. Like Web3 is driven not by a single person, but by a bunch of collectives working towards the same goal, which forms at times DAOs or NFTs or EPNS or Bitcoin or Ethereum or Polygon and so on.
Okay, let's talk about some of the companies and protocols that you're working with, some of the products that you're working with. And can you give us some examples of how exactly EPNS helps them function better, or how EPNS sits as a communication layer on those protocols or those platforms or dApps?
So one of our favorites is Uniswap. I think that's the largest DEX in Web 3.0. So of course, they are going to be one of our favorites. But the other reason why they are one of our favorites is also because when we spoke to them, they were the first one to, instantly see that Web3 communication and wallet communication is missing. And they were like, no, we want to do this. We wanted to do this for so long. So yeah, we are in. And we will help you build this out. With them, what we are doing is governance proposals. Now for Uni version 2, whenever a governance proposal is out, users can go and opt in to that notification through app.epns.io. And after that, whenever a governance proposals are out, they will get a notification right on their mobile app. Of course, they have to download our mobile app or Chrome extension because they are the only ones which are listening to the push network right now.
And you have to subscribe to these channels, right? In order to get the notifications from them. That's right.
Yes. So we have changed subscribe to opt-in because subscribe seems like you have to pay. In general, the user never pays. So now we just say that you have to opt into these channels. So for Uniswap, we are doing governance, and then we are doing LP pool falling out of range, which becomes technical for most of the people. But basically, you are essentially in Uniswap, which is an automated market maker or a decentralized exchange. So basically, it enables you to buy and sell shares of different Web3 companies in a way. And for you to come and buy and sell different shares, someone else have to put their shares out. They are essentially called LP pool. And whenever they put their shares out, they are called LPs. Whenever they put their shares out, they put it that I'll sell it between this price to this price and I'll have a fee on it. And what we built is that, if those price range, that user has fallen out of the price range and therefore he's not earning any fees when someone is buying those shares from him, then that person or that wallet address can finally be notified.
Gets a notification that, hey, this is what's going on and maybe you need to reassess where you are, right?
Yes. With Polygon, for example, we are, of course, we are coming over there as well, but we are also working with them to create a notification whenever the users move their fund from Polygon to Ethereum or Ethereum to Polygon and vice versa, because moving funds from Polygon to Ethereum takes some time, like an hour or so. So again, you don't have to wait over there. You will just get a notification.
Refresh.
Yes.
You don't have to do that anymore.
You don't have to do that anymore. Then for different projects, it's different things. For DYDX, it's different things. For Banker, it's different things. For Aave, it's loan liquidation or near loan liquidation. So before your loan is about to be liquidated, you'll get a notification that you need to provide more liquidity into it, or inject more liquidity into the protocol. With Snapshot, we are working on governance proposals. So whenever someone sends a proposal out that what we want to do, governance proposal for DAO is very important. So then users are able to get those notifications in instantly, and
that's also how the push grants get validated and approved, right? Through governance.
Yes, exactly.
But let's talk about the future. I mean, now you've got wallets talking to each other. In my opinion, at some point in time, all of Web3 will become social. People who've got NFTs, people who function, who are a part of a DAO, people who are trading in different coins. You'll want to have a chat with each other, either as human beings or as wallets. The wallet will become a pseudonymous sort of representation of you, the person. How is EPNS going to sort of bridge that world or be a part of that world when everything becomes social? Firstly, do you believe that everything in Web3 is going to be social at some point in time?
I do. I mean, I believe like Web2 companies and services, like we already know those Web2 companies and services are important in our life. Web3 is just a much better way to operate. Like just from Web1 to Web2, why we moved was because Web3 was a much better world to operate. Same as with Web3, like it's a much better world to operate technically as well as from the user point of view. So I see everything from social to banking to email to anything which we do, like even buying art or e-commerce, everything will move to Web3. And for Web3 to then have those things and not be able to communicate is going to be a major pain. So that pain point, in essence, we were lucky to stumble upon or very early on, because that pain point was solved for Web 2.0 by Apple and Google. And I guess Balaji also wrote about it, like in Web3, India is becoming the innovators of the world by inventing things which at one point of time no one other than giants like Apple and Google could have thought to invent. So now my viewpoint is very clear. We are going to become the de facto Web3 communication layer. Web3 is going to be social. A lot of services, one time or the other. It's just like how we went to these services, like 45 of those, they were like all in, and 15 of those, they came later. So it's going to come one way or the other. And when people come, when the social network come, you need a communication layer to basically.
But would you still say that we're very early on in the development of communication layers along the highway of Web3? Would you still say these are early days?
Yes. I mean,
my follow-up question is, even though this is not financial advice, should everybody buy some EPNS, some push tokens? Because we're so early. Not financial advice, and we're not your financial advisors, but just your opinion on that.
Got it. So, I mean, no financial advice, guys. And did I mention, Nikhil, how much we love you?
Yeah, these are early days. Full disclosure, I have some push tokens as well, but these are early days. And to me, as a layperson who's fascinated by all the development that's happening in Web3, I can see that this is just the tip of the iceberg. I can see the path that we're going to be on. I don't know where the path's going to lead us, because there's going to be more technologies that are going to evolve and come up as we go forward. But I'm definitely excited by what you're doing and the projects that you're working on.
Got it. I would just like to add, like, just because we brought up the concept of buying tokens and buying push tokens. So I would love people to go ahead and buy it. But I would say that, guys, when we are talking, we are talking as two people who know about the push token. And that's why we say it's not financial advice, because more than the buying part, I would say that, you have to check a project out. Like, again, it's very much like shares. Like, would you buy Apple shares? Would you buy Amazon shares? The answer is probably yes. But why it's a yes is because you know about those companies, yeah, at least at a general level. When you are buying tokens also, like any token, whether it's my token, whether it's any other project's token or any other protocol token, the first thing you guys have to do is you have to learn about that project. Like, treat it like buying shares. Or, a better perspective is, you don't go to a new city and then you say, oh, I heard this sector is very good, so let me buy some land over here before, checking the land out. It's the same thing, guys. While, I might get very happy with you guys going on and buying the tokens, I would say it's not a financial advice. Always do your research, always learn about the project, and then dive in.
Okay, Harsh, we're almost at the end of this fascinating conversation that we've been having. I just want to ask you, do you have any sort of magic crystal ball that looks into the future? Where are we going with Web3 and with communication layers and with the socialization of Web3? Can you predict anything?
So, yeah, I can predict one thing, like no one will actually be able to know the identity of Satoshi Nakamoto. Otherwise, I suck at prediction. I will predict a couple of things though. The first thing is that we are going to become very scalable very soon. Web3 world right now, it's suffering from its popularity. A lot of popular projects such as Ethereum, they're suffering from scalability. And Polygon basically solved that for Ethereum. But yeah, I see that, it will go deeper in 2022 and later on. Social network, I see one or two social network experiments coming in. Whether that becomes the next Facebook or the next Twitter, that we'll find out in 2023 or 2024. But yeah, I definitely.
But it's happening.
Some search. Yeah, it's happening. Like again, this is a much better. Like, technically, it's a much better place to build things on. We basically relied on certain things which we forgot how the specific works. Like, I mean, just if you think about banks, like, it's so weird that a bank server, your money is stored in a bank server which can be wiped away, or which are just, numbers. They're not backed by something. They're not even backed by maths. They're just numbers in a server. And anyone can come and change it. And if they change it, then that's it. Your money is gone. All that money is just a number in a database. So it doesn't mean that money always exists. So that was what Web3 was made to change. And then, we kind of realized that not only for banking, I mean, this is true for so many other things. Like, we are doing Google, or when we are doing Facebook. There's so many times when Facebook has been accused of unethical things, or scrapping on our data, and it's because you're trusting a server which is closed. That, okay, when I'm saying something, this will go to a server. I'm trusting them that they will play a good Samaritan. They will not listen to it, and they will send it out to anyone else. But that's not the right way to do things. The right way would be that I don't have to trust, right? This will go to a network, and anyone can verify that this network is not doing anything goofy with it. And then it will come back to a person. That's the right way of doing things. So yeah, for me, Web3 and where we are headed, it's quite clear. We are still early because most of the things which I just said to your viewers, they will probably go away from this podcast because of it. So, just because of those stats and numbers, I know that we are still very early. But yeah, we are getting there. Some sometime in the future, Web3 would be as synonymous as, hey, just Google something out, or hey, just use internet.
Harsh, we've spoken so much about EPNS. Can you show us how it actually looks and how it works?
Awesome. I would love to, Nikhil. So yeah, you can see all the cool channels which we are launching. Some of them are hidden from the UI because, of course, we want to launch them slowly, build some excitement. So maybe, again, an alpha drop on what things are going to come. ENS is one of our most opted in channel in the past 5 days till we are live. But yeah, let's say I just wanted to, I found a channel which I want to subscribe. Let's say CoinDesk. Oh, I am already opted into CoinDesk. Let's say YAM is that channel. So all I have to do is opt in. It will open up MetaMask for my signature request. Notice that I don't have to pay anything. I just have to click sign. And that's it, right? After that, the YAM governance can send notification to my wallet address. And this is how it looks basically, all the things that come in. As I said, it's an open communication protocol. So the same thing can be seen over here. It will actually, I'm using staging app over here because of course we try to keep the production app separate. But yeah, the same thing can be experienced in the Chrome extension, as well as in the mobile app of ours, or any other mobile app, or any other wallet, or any other crypto content that basically integrates EPNS. Let me show you very cool thing, like how easy it is to send notifications now. I'll just show you the interface from the channel point of view for people who want to send notifications. This is just a manual way. Of course, automated ways are of course there. So yeah, all I have to do is put in my wallet address. The content is very dynamic, so I can just say, hey, Nikhil, but I can do so much more. I can enable media. If I'm enabling media, I of course want to have Nikhil Chinapa YouTube video on it. So let me just go over here. Bitcoin, blockchain, and crypto. What better way to send a Web3 notice? Yeah.
Episode 1.
Yeah, episode 1. So yes, all I have to do as a service, I'm just sending this notification out. In the backend, this notification data is getting sent, and then is getting sent to the push node. And the push node will shortly pick up the notification. They're actually already dead. And
fantastic, man. Wow. And of course, all of these things can be automated as well. They don't have to be done manually, depending on the protocol that are using EPNS, right?
Yeah. So it's automated. It's through Shodan's framework, or you can automate it yourself. But yeah, manually, we also put that thing in because it basically helps you to come in and let's say, like for example, if we are doing this live AMA, this cannot be automated, right? Because this was very impromptu. So in that case, you can just do manual notification.
But things like price notifications, trades going through, all of those things can be automated whenever those marks are hit.
Yes, and they are, like for even for now, like if people want to see what is the Ethereum price, or what is the Bitcoin price, or even what is the gas price right now, they can just opt in, and in the back end, the Shodan's framework is doing their job, automating things, sending it at the right time with the right info, and so on. One last thing which I wanted to show was governance. So we spoke about governance so much. I just had to show like how easy it is to be involved in the governance proposal. So not only can you vote on governance proposal, you can also become a delegatee, which means that you can even form those governance proposals, and you can play a major role in deciding for the future and the vision of EPNS. So how do you do that? If you have some push tokens, you can come to incentives.epns.io, go to push governance. I don't have a push token, a lot of push token right now because, poor entrepreneur. But yeah, I'm stayed on the yield farming part. So if you're stayed on the yield farming, you can vote as well. But yeah, I delegated some of my push balance to a wallet address over here, which basically means that they can use my push token to vote, but they cannot sell my push token. So delegating is as easy as just scrolling down, meeting your push nominees, and just hitting on the delegate button in case you like someone. You can even check their profile out by clicking the arrow, and you can see what they are doing and why they want to join EPNS governance and how they will help. So yeah, and if anyone who gets more than 75,000 push votes, they are basically moved over here, which basically means they can vote and they can put a proposal on behalf of you. So a lot of those things can be learned at gov.epns.io. If you have push tokens, I would motivate all of you to go and either delegate your voting rights or even go to yield farming and stake those out. Staked tokens also carry the same voting rights. So again, you will probably be earning some APR as well as voting on any features which you want. Voting is as easy as going to a snapshot and checking the proposals out and recording the proposal. Like right now, we are recording the proposal for Rockstar of EPNS, which basically is an NFT competition of ours. We created 100 unique NFTs, and each week we give one NFT out to the community member who does the best thing for EPNS, whether it's crazy, creative, developer-wise, builder-wise, or designer-wise. These NFTs also carry 2,400 push tokens. Actually, let me just show you. We have some of the coolest Rockstars made. So these are the NFTs that are going out. We have around 100 of these, and yeah, one of it can be used in case. And all you have to do is just go ahead and contribute to the EPNS ecosystem. But yeah, we are very proud of these.
It's crazy how simple. It's crazy how simple it is, and how beautifully architected the entire thing is.
Yep. Thanks.
Once again, Harsh, it's been a pleasure chatting with you, and I just want to say thank you so much for your time. I'm just going to leave everybody watching right now with some salient features of EPNS. I'm Nikhil Chinapa, and I hope you've had a great time discovering EPNS just like I have. See you soon.